Drink some beers. All right. NFL. Boy, how upsetting. So, my Super Bowl pick's still alive, though. Right? I did pick the Chargers to go to the Super Bowl to take on who? New Orleans? Who did I say? Minnesota? Now I forget. Minnesota. Yep, I still have Chargers, and obviously neither one of them have played, but we don't have to tell anybody that. We can just say my Super Bowl pick's still alive. All right. Big time of year, love the NFL. Not really a big college football guy. I mean, I'm just not. I watch it somewhat, but it's mostly for, like, fantasy football purposes. Mike, I have looked at the chat a few times, actually. Let's see. Smith Dog City's thawing out. No, I've looked at the chat. Definitely have. Right here, right where it says, we better not be talking Big Mac. Well, of course I get to talk about McGuire, too. I mean, come on, man. My show's not on until Wednesday. Just because there's been a day between my show and that story breaking doesn't mean that I can't touch it. I mean, you talked about it last night, right? I can talk about it tonight. I mean, I'm not just going to talk about Big Mac. I'm going to talk about, bigger issue. Big picture stuff. I mean, that's what you do. I mean, like it or not, it's a big story right now. And I definitely have it written down. That's what I was going to lead with, but then I forgot about American Idol. And how I definitely needed to lead with that. Elwood, Peyton Manning got the MVP. I will talk about that a little bit. Because honestly, I'm a little confused. Not that Peyton Manning doesn't deserve the MVP. He totally does. But how does an offensive player earn MVP but not Offensive Player of the Year honors? But I don't understand that. I mean, how can you be the best offensive player but not as good of a player as a different offensive player? What? I don't get it. Listen, Peyton Manning totally deserved MVP. I'm not saying that. I mean, he totally deserved to get the MVP. In my eyes, so does Chris Johnson. Matter of fact, this could have been a season where they split it up. You remember when they did that before? Gave two guys the MVP? Who was that, like McNair and Peyton Manning one year? Didn't that happen? Then do it again this year. If anybody else does, I mean, if there ever was a time where, two people deserved it, it's this year. For sure. I mean, Chris Johnson, the most, yards from scrimmage ever? I mean, come on, the guy deserves it. But still, you can argue there's nobody more valuable than Peyton Manning. I mean, both those guys easily, I think, for my money, I'd take them. I'd totally take them. But, congratulations to Peyton Manning either way, because I'm a Peyton Manning fan. I like what he does. I love how he plays. And he gets an MVP nod, he should. I mean, he's that great of a player. But in my eyes, the MVP, whatever side of the football he plays on, he should also be the player of the year in that category, too, offense or defense, I mean, it's just logic. How can you not be the best offensive player, but you're the MVP as a quarterback? Doesn't make sense. Elliott says, no one was as good as Peyton this year. Yeah, in the league, but offensively, someone was better. See, how much sense did that make? I mean, that didn't make any sense. But that's what we're hearing. Yeah, Peyton Manning was the best player in the league, undoubtedly, but on offense, it was Chris Johnson. Huh? All right. Okay, no, yeah. Sure enough, whatever. Either way, both guys had amazing seasons. I mean, absolutely incredible, mind-blowing seasons. Peyton Manning, we expected it from. Chris Johnson, we saw big things from last year, and we expected him to be really, really good. But I don't think anyone saw this coming. As a matter of fact, I'm big into fantasy football, if you guys might know. I mean, I don't know if you knew that. But I totally love fantasy football, and I know going in that no one had Chris Johnson as the number one running back, going into the season. Not one person. Mike Pendleton, host of Mic'd Up here on ericpedigo.com.